I think our alumni have noticed the changes in athletics, and one of the things that they notice most, and you mentioned your partnership with Adidas, is the look of Coast Guard athletics. Maybe you could discuss a little bit about the branding of Coast Guard athletics, the change in the logo and things like that, what brought it about, and how it's being received.
It was interesting, not long after I arrived, I got a very strong feeling that our current athletic mark, not to be confused with the Academy logos and emblems, our current athletic mark was not very fan-friendly. And as you and I talked about before, logos and marks elicit feelings from people. Some very strong, others not as strong, but people like what they like. And I was kind of startled that I heard so many negatives about this mark. And it wasn't that it wasn't well produced, but it wasn't easy to duplicate. For example, it wasn't easy to embroider because there were so many colors and so many things involved in it. So we wanted to simplify and clean up our marks, and we wanted to make a clear definition between primary marks and secondary marks, because they're not the same. You know, some marks are better with print applications, others are better with uniforms and things like that. The problem with the rebranding can be very expensive. I've been involved in rebranding efforts at other universities that have cost upwards of $50,000, and we don't have that kind of money here, as you know, to do things like that. And fortunately, through a relationship that Admiral Stowe's had with a designer at the Reservist magazine, we were able to get a complete redesign of a primary mark and 4 secondary marks and word marks of the word bears from a graphic artist inside the Coast Guard at no cost. And this all culminated in a rollout press conference unveiling, if you will, the week of the Merchant Marine game, where we unveiled the new look for the first time. We kept it very, very quiet from the athletes. Even when the football team came back, even though they had new helmets that were a different color, their helmets didn't have logos on them, so they were in the dark too until that day when we didn't put them on their helmets till after practice on September 5th. And we built up a lot of interest, and candidly the reception's been pretty good. The retail side of it has moved well. I know, just having finished the trustee meetings, I talked to some admirals from different parts of the country who are starting to see this in their exchange stores at their installations and sector stations and things like that. And I think it's just good for the Coast Guard because it ties the Academy more to the Coast Guard in the field. The final thing that made it worthwhile, the players love it.
That's great.
And really, they're the ones wearing it in the long run. And it is tied nicely to provide a kind of newness and freshness that wasn't there before. We won't be changing it anytime soon, I promise you, but we're going to ride with this for a while.